In this video, we're going to be taking a look into the expert difficulty mode settings in Kaffelogic Studio. To access these settings, go up to Options, Difficulty, Expert. In this difficulty, we have a few more options to work with: reference load size, roast end by time ratio, and roast levels. Starting with the reference load size, this setting is an override on the batch size. If you create a profile for a batch size for anything other than 120 grams, the default, then this will set the batch size and fan scaling to that of the fan curve as it is in the profile currently. Typically, one of our profiles is 14,700 RPM. And let's say, for example, if you don't change your fan profile from the default, but you set your reference load size to 50 grams, then instead of the fan dropping down to 11,200 RPM, it will remain at 14,700 RPM. Then if you were to scale your batch size higher using the boost kit, with this profile, your fan speed will increase significantly, and what was a fan speed of 14,700 RPM is now much higher. What it essentially does is it shifts the anchor point, being the batch size, at which the fan speed is tied to. It is a handy tool if you are creating profiles for specific batch sizes and not scaling them down during boost. So if you have a profile that you create for 50 grams, you enter your reference size as 50 grams, so anyone else that uses that profile can also see that it is meant for 50 grams. Let's talk a bit about roast end by time ratio. This setting is the way in which the roaster decides how to end your roast. On the profile itself, it's represented by the sweeping red line. Essentially, if your bean temperature hits the red line, it'll end. Your roast will stop. It sweeps in this angle to compensate for if the roast will end early, if it runs faster than the profile, or longer if it's running slower. We can change this ratio using the roast end by time ratio setting. You can steepen the curve by moving the number closer to 1, or you can flatten it out and get it closer to 0. When the number is closer to 1, it will favor ending by time regarding temperature less. And if it's set closer to 0, it will favor temperature regarding time less. Remember that you can reference these by hovering over the name in the setting. And finally, let's chat about roast levels. Roast levels are an arbitrary number scale that we attach to a series of end temperatures. This was created for ease of use with new users that have not roasted coffee before or do not yet understand terminology around roasting. These are how the numbers are laid out from level 0 to level 6. Functionally, you can access from 0.1 to 5.9. And so we'll start with the lowest, level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6. We can reconfigure these numbers to be as close as 1 degree Celsius apart, meaning that every time we click the plus button, it will increase the end temperature by 0.1 degrees. So if you were trying to dial something in very, very finely or accurately, this would be a good approach to take. If you want a broader jump with every click of the plus button, then I would suggest making the numbers about 2 to 4 degrees between each level. Please don't be afraid of going as far down as level 0.1. You will not bottom out your roaster. It's just a marker to an end temp. If you find that on a specific profile you land more in that lower range, then I would suggest making that lower number your level 3 smack in the middle, and then expand it up and down. Let's see what I mean by that. For example, let's say when I'm roasting, I actually end up preferring the flavors around about 212, but I want a field to be able to control and make edits still without my only limitation of having to go up. So what I'll do is I'll go level 0, 1, 2, 3. I'll change this to 12, 212, and maybe I'll change this to 210, 208, 206, and on the higher end, go 214, 216, 218. Now when you go into our profile curve, we can see that level 3 now correlates to the end temperature of 212. And if I go down to level 0.1, go all the way down to 206.2. So we've just moved that window that we can now explore in that much lower. If you want to keep the fine control but move away from levels, then I would suggest putting your roaster into dial in by dev%. This will remove the levels display and replace it with a development percentage of the profile. Then when you increase or decrease it as you see fit, you will see the expected first crack appear on the screen, as well as the end temp. So you can gauge both your expected first crack and the roast end, as well as the development percentage. We've uploaded a few tutorials already so that you can get to know your roaster better and level up your home roasting journey. This was our final walkthrough tutorial of Kaffelogic Studio. I hope you learned a few things and that some of your questions have been answered. If you have any more questions about anything specific, you can always reach out to us on social media or through our support channels. We're looking to do some more tutorials and walkthroughs going forward, but until then, happy roasting.